This episode is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Learn more at slashandcast.net.
There are legends around here.
Who died in G fucking King of the Zombies?
Even if only in their own minds. Forgotten, but not yet dead.
I want to play a game.
Some have tried to stop them, but they keep coming back.
Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out.
Coming to entertain you. They are the Crystal Lake Soldiers.
Welcome back to the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast. My name's Isaiah, joined as always by Mark, Sean, and Ted. How are you guys doing this weekend?
Pretty good.
Doing good, man.
Feeling great, man. It's tired.
I hear you on the tired. It's been such a fucking long week, but it's been a good
Ready
week.
to send 2020 packing, dude.
Right? I'm right there with you. Fuck. We're only, less than 20 days away. God, this month is actually flying by, which is a good thing, because I just want to
I've heard everybody saying that. Let's just hope we don't eat our words, man.
Right?
I just
real.
want to eat. But that's just my negative take on it. It could be a great year. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm hoping for 2021
I'm
to
ready
be a
to
good
see,
year.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm ready to take some trips next year. I mean, I've already started planning because obviously we got Texas Frightmare coming up in April. Knock on wood, as long as things don't get all fucked up again. So that's planned. I've got my money set aside for that. I'm ready for that fucking trip because that's gonna be the first trip of the year. I'm like dead set. Like I'm fucking going.
Hell yeah!
I mean,
I'm already ready to.
I'm so fucking ready. I'm ready to get the fuck out of this house and just travel.
Yeah,
So,
I'm ready to do shit too, man. Take the places to Texas Front, all that shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This last year was fucking very uneventful for sure.
Yeah, it was rough on everybody.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Everybody's had a rough go of it this year. But yeah, Texas Frightmare is definitely the first trip. Planning on going to Kansas City Crypticon in July. And then some of us in the podcast network have actually been talking about doing a get-together at Universal in October for Halloween Horror Nights. So planning on doing that too. So
That's cool.
Fly down there because we were originally talking about like going down there for Halloween Horror Nights and then going to like opening night to see Halloween Kills as a group. So yeah, so I'm like I've already set aside money for doing that too. So like I'm ready to take these 3 fucking trips. Cool. Yeah, I mean I'm just like ready to get the fuck out of here. Use up all my PTO and just travel.
Well, Jennifer and I were, because our anniversary is in October, we were kicking around the idea of next Halloween 2021 going up and spending a long weekend up in Salem, Massachusetts, which I think would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I know someone that actually doesn't live too far from there. They said it's pretty awesome, though. It's a fun place. If that makes sense, a cool place to visit. Not
yeah,
place,
it's got I've heard it's got definitely has a certain energy, like a weight to it that you know because a lot of really bad shit happened there.
Right. It'd be interesting. That's one place I have always wanted to go. So that would be cool if you guys ended up going there for sure. But yeah, so definitely got 3 trips tentatively planned, more than likely going to happen as long as shit calms down and people start going back to normal. You know,
I want to do a wrestling con, man. That was my plan this year. But
that would be so much fun.
I haven't done that shit in so long and seen anybody. So
yeah, I'm thinking
I thought that would be cool. I'm
thinking 2022. As much as I hate WWE right now, I am thinking about going to WrestleMania in 2022. You know, and definitely not this next year because that's right before Texas Frightmare, so and I don't want to stretch myself that thin on funds because that's a fucking expensive trip just for WrestleMania. So
hell yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun, though. I mean, you got all those conventions and stuff going around, and so many wrestling events too around WrestleMania. You know, it's a lot of fun, even just beyond going to WrestleMania. I mean, you've got WrestleCon. Usually, you've got like Ring of Honor.
Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Do the WrestleMania show and do WrestleCon.
Yep.
Even though the WWE experience looks cool, but I know you only get a block a short time.
Yeah, you get a 4-hour block, and you're spending about $150 to go to that 4-hour block. I mean, it's good because you get to see a lot of the stuff that you normally wouldn't, like a lot of the sets and rings and, you know, like the Elimination Chamber. You know, you get to go inside of that, take pictures. I think they even have Hell in a Cell sometimes. I mean, there's just so many things you can do there, and they've got like NXT live events going on. So it's a lot of fun. It's just that it sucks that it's a 4-hour block and that's all you get unless you buy another block for another $150 or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's WrestleMania, it's WWE, it's their biggest time of the year. So they're going to charge an arm and a leg for all this shit. So, but definitely WrestleCon is definitely something to go towards. And some of the live events for some of like the independent shows or like, you know, not WWE shows like Impact or Ring of Honor.
So there was an Impact and AAA and Ring of Honor. Yep. Sometimes they all do like a show where they're all working together, so you never know what you might get to see.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get some AEW in the area too. So
yeah, man.
Which would be great. But yeah, beyond that, all that though, what have you guys been up to this week?
Watching Rambo a lot, and
hell yeah,
which was great. It just took me a while to get through.
Yeah,
I started my Christmas sitcom stuff with King of the Hill, if you count that as a sitcom.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and some Martin Lawrence and just good Christmas stuff, man. That's all I've been doing is Christmas decorating and cooking and all that kind of shit. So
very
fun
cool
stuff, but that's why I'm tired. So
I hear that.
I've been enjoying the Rambo movies. I was a little worried there for a minute because I didn't have any of the movies, and there's like minimum like $4 a movie to rent them.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend ended up just buying me the 4-pack of the first 4 movies.
Nice.
Which is pretty. Yeah, it was really nice of her to do that. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I ended up.
She's a keeper, Mark.
Yeah. It has this weird thing that I wanted to try on. I don't know if you guys have any of them. It has like survival mode where you make decisions in the movie. It's really weird.
Huh.
I don't remember my Blu-rays having that.
It's on a DVD, so I don't know. It might not have caught on. It might have been shitty. I'll probably pop one in here in a couple days and try it out.
Yeah, it's worth it just to see what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Might need some extra footage or whatever.
Yeah. I watched the video game awards on Twitch, and man, people were fucking pissed. People were so mad that Last of Us won Game of the Year. It was so funny.
I still haven't played it.
I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima. It looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it didn't go to Animal Crossing. Man,
yeah.
I loved Animal Crossing when I played it, but it's not a Game of the Year kind of game. I don't think. It doesn't break many barriers. It doesn't do anything, spectacular. I don't know. The new game's coming out is awesome. The Back 4 Blood looks cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Dead game.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks cool. Man.
They brought Master Chief, my boy Master Chief, to Fortnite. There's rumors that Predator and Terminator's coming too.
Oh wow! That could be
if they
cool.
do that, I'll probably buy those too because I bought Master Chief.
That's hilarious.
Oh man, that's about it, man. Just watching Rambo and paying attention to all the crazy video game stuff going on. I heard people are really pissed about Cyberpunk not working on their PlayStation.
Yeah,
oh god,
they're giving out refunds. I heard for PS4 purchases.
Why is it not working?
It's just not optimized for the older hardware. It's all made for new gen shit. So
yeah,
if you have it on a base PS4 or a base Xbox, it runs like shit.
Oh, gotcha.
You got to have like a Pro or a 1X.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I didn't buy it then, because I have just the base PS4 that I bought 5.5 years ago.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely wait for that. It's getting really shit on. It'll probably be a bargain bin game soon too. But
Darn, I was kind of looking forward to that.
I think it'd still be worth it if you grab it on sale. It still looks like a fun story.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to play it.
Get your PS5 and just pick it up then.
That's probably what I'll be doing.
That'll probably be the game I get with the PS5 once I finally do get it. So
I think it's going to be one of those things like Battlefront where everybody shit on it and it ended up being like a $5 game.
mm-hmm.
But it was still a really good I love Battlefront 1 and 2. I love both of them, and everybody shits on them. They're great games.
Agreed. Very much so. All right, Ted, what have you been up to this week?
Well, Monday I woke up, got ready for work.
Okay, we're gonna do this again.
I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do this again.
And then what happened?
You know what? Sometimes that boringness that you're explaining sounds attractive to me. So.
Right?
So, Sean, you're saying there's a chance? Wink, wink. Sean, it's not gay if we don't look at each other in the eyes. You know that, right?
I already have sunglasses, buddy.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, all kidding aside, it's just been real busy at work this week. But I got to finally sit down and watch that new Scooby-Doo movie called Scoob,
Mm-hmm.
which I really enjoyed. It's been getting crapped on a lot, but I thought it was an enjoyable movie because it's not just a Scooby-Doo movie. It's like a big Hanna-Barbera. It's like the first movie in a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe or something.
Oh,
because you've got the Blue Falcon, you've got Dick Dastardly. He's the villain in the movie, and Muttley. You've got appearance by Captain Caveman.
Nice.
Yes,
My kids,
yes.
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but my kids loved it. So
Oh, they already. Oh, that's right. Because I gave you the code. That's right. Did I give you the code?
yeah, you did.
I don't even remember what I did. I don't remember who I give what to win. It's just like the women I'm with. I don't remember who
See, man, that's why I just stay in Virginia.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, it was a fun movie. Had a lot of heart, and I love that like the main. Well, I'm not going to spoil it, so I'll just say I love Dick Dastardly and the reason why he's doing the stuff he's doing.
yeah.
It's a fun movie. It's not long. It's like an hour and 20 something minutes. I don't know. People are hating on it. I'm just like I don't see it. I thought it was just a really good and fun movie with all these characters. Finally saw the like y'all. I saw the extended cut of Rambo: Last Blood for the first time. Watched that too this week. Because I saw it in the theaters, and I still just don't understand why we can't get this extended cut on disc. Because it's the better version.
It is very much
Having
better.
that, just having that extra opening was just great. Other than that, I didn't really do anything else. Well, I did watch Die Hard today to get ready for next week. I started my Die Hard watching, and that's still one of the best action films ever made. In my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much all I did. Just worked and watched a couple of movies.
Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, for me this week it's been actually I've been playing a lot more games. I actually streamed last night. Again, like I finally got the streaming thing figured out, I think. I ended up buying a new microphone so I don't have my Rodecaster running through the stream because that was causing a lot of audio issues. And so I ended up buying a new phone, or not a new phone, but a new microphone to kind of celebrate the whole divorce thing and get myself a present for Christmas because I know I'm not getting anything for my family, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. But so I ended up doing that, testing it out. Stream went well. I upped my internet speed too, which helped too. So that was great. So I'm excited to do some more streaming. played some Phasmophobia last night, and been doing a lot of Among Us as well lately, which has been a lot of fun with a lot of the people from the network and whatnot. So, because we've had like a core group of us that have been playing almost nightly Among Us, and that's such a fun game, and it's such a cheap game too. Free if you play it on your phone, because we've kind of had a combination of people playing on their phone and people playing through Steam, which has been a lot of fun because people will sit at work and play with us as we've been playing the game. So that's been cool. Then, obviously I watched all of the Rambo movies. Honestly, even before we get into all that, I'll just start out by saying Rambo is probably my favorite action franchise. And I fucking love these movies, so I can't wait to talk about this tonight. So I watched that. I've been binge watching Big Mouth as well on Netflix, so they came out with a new season of that. I think I might have mentioned that last week too, but I've been, I finished that up this week. But other than that, I haven't really watched a whole lot of anything other than Rambo and Big Mouth. It's been mostly gaming and working, so that's been kind of my week this week. But
did you see that new map that's coming to Among Us?
I saw something about it today. I didn't get to see like what it looks like or anything.
It's an airship. They announced it at the Game Awards. It looks pretty cool.
Okay.
Is that the game where you like somebody's a killer, but you don't know who you have to guess who it is?
Yep.
Is that for PlayStation also? Because that looks fun.
No, it's PC or your phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got a PC. But...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to run that game, and
it's not very demanding. I mean, your phone can run it, and it's literally the same experience.
Yeah,
it's not any better or worse on either one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched a video with a guy at work on our lunch break about it, and I was just like, that looks fun.
It is a lot of fun,
but playing by yourself sucks. I've never played any other map than the default, because nobody in matchmaking ever plays any other map.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. I know that map like at heart, but I don't know any of the other ones. But it's really fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It's definitely a game that I would not play with random people. This is definitely a game I would have to play with people I know, and playing with the network has been great. And it's always fun just to kind of try to figure out who's the killer, or like try to play it off that you're not, and like just killing people.
It won an award at the show.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Best multiplayer. Even though it's 2 years old, I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot of entries, I guess, so maybe it squeezed its way in. Also, Phasmophobia won. I should have mentioned that. They won best debut game, which was amazing because it had some pretty heavy hitters it was going up against. So good on them.
Definitely, and they actually just came out with a new map too. They've got a prison map now too, which is a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And so that got released, and actually I streamed that last night. So if you want to check out the prison map, you can check out the stream from that I did last night, because that has us playing the prison map. And it's a huge map too. It's really, really big, and it looks like they added some new ghost types in there too. So they've got some new models in there for the ghosts, and they look pretty gnarly. That game's a lot of fun. I mean, honestly, it's such a fun game, just like Among Us. It seems like, these big AAA games have a lot of fucking problems, but even these indie games, I mean, my God, they can make some really, really good indie games, and they can still have issues, but it seems like it's more positive than negative, with some of these indie games versus some of these bigger games like Cyberpunk, where it's just unplayable on certain consoles. So
there's been a lot of games like over the past like 20 or so years that have come out that have been like the biggest games ever that have been in like Minecraft was an indie game.
Yep.
It was made by one guy. Stardew Valley was made by one guy. Senua's Sacrifice was an indie game. And then you got like EA coming out with a game that's half finished.
Right? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The big companies they began taking everybody for granted. I've been bitching about this for a long time because you can update and fix things because of the online connection. they got fucking lazy and released this half-ass products that they'll just fix and update later.
Yep.
Where the indie guys realize if they do that shit, they'll never have a chance, so they're trying harder.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Can you imagine if you'd have bought a game for the Nintendo and only half of it worked or crashed halfway through? Like Super Mario 3 crashed halfway through, so you had to buy an update.
Nintendo never has freaking issues, man. Their games are solid as a rock.
Yep.
Because they have a standard of quality. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I play the Luigi's Mansion 3, and it's a kid's game, but man, it is so freaking funny. And there's no glitches or anything in the game. I haven't seen any.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
It's ridiculous. It's so stupid that some of these companies just can't produce a finished game or one without a fuck ton of bugs. It's just so ridiculous. Because I mean, I understand some things are going to be glitchy. That's just kind of how it is with games. But when there's just so many bugs and so like broken, it gets a little ridiculous. But I digress. I mean, that's just a whole other discussion for another day.
We could do a whole podcast.
We really could do a whole episode on that. But I did want to cover just a couple things of news that have come up. Mark briefly mentioned a couple of them already, but we'll just kind of go over this pretty quickly because we got 5 movies to get through tonight. So just to start off, Evil Dead the game was announced. This is going to be a PvP game. So it's basically 4 against 1, so you can play as Ash. Looks like you can play as Kelly from Ash vs. Evil Dead, Arthur from Army of Darkness, and Scotty from the original Evil Dead. So you can play as one of those 4 heroes, or you can play as the Kandarian demon. And they were saying something along the lines that you can actually possess other people, objects, and things. So you can do probably a lot of cool shit being the demon in this game. So that's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. This is coming out next year. It'll be interesting to see what kind of maps they have, because obviously they have the cabin map. It'll be interesting to see if they do one like in medieval times, like for Army of Darkness, or like a more of an urban setting, kind of like how they did in Ash vs. Evil Dead. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. This was made by the company that made the World War Z game, and it looks pretty cool from the little bit of footage that they showed in kind of the teaser trailer for it. So I'm super pumped for it. At least we know now it's not being done by Gun, so it's definitely not them, but it's made by the company that did the World War Z game. So, but very, very, very cool looking. And along with that, obviously Back 4 Blood. It's a spiritual successor for the Left 4 Dead games, because obviously they probably just can't use the Left 4 Dead games because Valve owns that. And that looks fucking amazing too. They had the gameplay footage for that for the alpha, and that just looks fucking amazing. It just brought back so many good memories of the Left 4 Dead games. And then they've got an alpha coming up this next week for that you can sign up on PC. And so if you can get into that, try to get into it. I signed up myself because I really want to test this out and play it. But otherwise, it looks so good. But otherwise,
I normally don't pre-order games, but I'll probably pre-order this one.
Oh, definitely. This one's definitely getting pre-ordered for sure. And then, that's got a release date of June 22nd of 2021. So that's coming up in a little over 6 months. So I mean, I'm super pumped for this because I've been wanting a Left 4 Dead 3 for so long, and it's about time somebody made basically a sequel to it, even though it's not really a sequel in name. So, but it is. So it's really cool. And so that alpha test is going to be on PC. It'll begin December 17th and run through the 21st of December. So if you get picked for that, great. I'm hoping I do. I'm not expecting to, because I think I was a little late in signing up for it, but you never know. So it'll be very, very cool. And then the last pieces of information I got is new Alien TV series for FX on Hulu was announced by Disney, and so this is going to be set on Earth and in the not too distant future. So that it'll be interesting seeing the alien actually on Earth, where we're all the movies we've seen them in space, and definitely not on Earth. So, it's honestly an Alien TV series has been something I've kind of wanted to see for a while, and I'm glad it's finally happening. And the fact,
sounds cool. We'll see how it goes.
yeah, I mean,
I'm always iffy with-
right.
Do we know who's behind it?
Noah Hawley is developing the series. So, but other than that, that's kind of really the only actual news that we know of it. Ridley Scott is in talks to come on board as an executive producer, but that's really about it. So, not a whole lot of information as of yet. But Hawley is famous for Fargo and Legion for those two shows. So
very good movies.
The shows, I believe, is what they were talking. Because they have the Legion show.
I never saw the shows, but I saw both of the movies.
Right. So, definitely more on that coming. Obviously, now that it's been announced, so I don't think it's even in production yet. It's probably in pre-production, so we'll see what happens. But that's kind of all I had for news, unless any of you guys have any other things you kind of want to touch on.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that on the Epic Games Store on PC, 'cause normally they do a free game or two every week.
Mm-hmm.
But this week, starting on the 17th, they're going to be giving a free game every day for 14 days. They haven't announced what the games are going to be, but it's free to make an account. You don't have to have a subscription or anything. It's worth checking out every day to see what game they're giving away. They usually give away decent indie games, so I'd definitely check it out. I'm going to check it out.
I didn't know about that, so that's cool to know, because I'm all for free games, especially from
pad your library, man.
Right?
Yeah, 14 games. Shit.
Fuck yeah! All right, well, that's what we got for news for this week. Well, tonight we are continuing our action-packed December. Last week we talked about RoboCop, but this week we are talking about, as I was saying in the kind of the beginning of the show, probably my favorite action franchise of them all, and that's the Rambo franchise. So let's go ahead and kick it off with First Blood, which was released on October 22nd, 1982. It was directed by Ted Kotcheff. The cast included Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna, Brian Dennehy, a young David Caruso. Budget was estimated to be about $15 million, and it took in about $125 million worldwide. Just a couple pieces of trivia regarding this. The large piece of rotten canvas that Rambo finds in the woods and cuts into a makeshift coat was actually not a movie prop. It was actually found by the film crew. And so Stallone actually said it, joked that it kind of became like a treasured prop on set. And after filming ended, he actually kept that canvas and actually still has it in his possession to this day.
That's great.
So, that's kind of cool. And then, so the other thing with Stallone with this movie, the first cut of this movie was like between 3 and 3.5 hours long, and he could not stand it. He actually was trying to buy the movie so he could have it destroyed because he knew that cut was going to end up like ruining his career. So obviously they cut the movie in half, and it became what we know now for First Blood, and it's a beloved action flick, and kind of started the whole franchise for this. And so,
my favorite.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then finally, Sylvester Stallone and the producers wanted to make Rambo different than he was in the actual book. They didn't want him to be like a psychotic, cold-blooded killer like he was in the books, so they decided to make him a man who was lost, didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and kind of a victim of circumstance. So, and I think that played to its benefit, doing it that way and changing that aspect of the character. And
yeah, definitely.
What's funny about that is the author of the novel would go on to write the novelization of parts 2 and 3 of this franchise.
That's funny.
David Morrell.
Yep.
Oh, when I read that years ago, I just laughed because
he is more deadly in those movies. I guess that made it easier for him.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because I don't even think he kills anyone in the first movie, man.
No, he doesn't. Only the jerkweed of a deputy died, and that was an accident. And that guy was an idiot for hanging out of the helicopter anyway, trying to just shoot him. I mean, that guy deserved to die. He was an idiot.
He's a big part of besides the sheriff who had no reason to fuck with him in the first place. I think that's his asshole and all of it. He just kept pushing him.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the novel itself, there was more of a reason why Teasel was doing that. It's because, like,
He was a
Teasel
Korean vet or
served-
something like that.
Yeah, Teasel served Korean, and he hated the idea of, like, the generation after him, like, not that Rambo did this, but people, like, running, away to Canada and stuff like that. So he had, like, some sort of...
He had a major hair in his ass as soon as he saw him. I see the jacket and like, damn.
Well, in the novel, though, I think it's just because, it's like, it's a generational thing. Like, I served my country. They think they're, they shouldn't, or something like that, and that's how he viewed Rambo.
Yeah.
That wasn't Rambo didn't try to run when he got, I can't even remember if Rambo signed up or got drafted in the novel, if it was even mentioned.
I don't quite remember. No,
I don't either. But yeah. So that was like, if I'm remembering it correctly in the novel, that's like the main reason Teasel had to stick up his butt.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, in the movie, he just viewed him as a drifter and was like, we don't need your kind in our town.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't even fucking give him a chance. He's like, look, I'll take you to the edge. It's like, and he probably would have just left, but then he just had to say the one last fucking comment. So
Yeah.
I mean, I love the lines that he gets in this, and one thing I love about this movie and the other movies as well is it shows not only is Sylvester Stallone a great action star, but he's also a really good fucking actor.
Yeah,
He
I was
is.
thinking that too, man. I was like, man, Sly gets a lot of flack, but he really shows some.
That
gets
scene
a lot
when
of
he was
flack.
having the meltdown in the police station.
that's
with,
my favorite scene in the whole movie.
That was so believable.
He gets a lot of flack because of the way he talks, but that's not his fault. When he was being born, the doctor screwed up and cut a nerve or something.
And it fits this character. Anyway.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, so people basically are just judging him because, talks like this. I can't do it, but you know what I mean. And,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, no, he's a great actor, and he's a very intelligent human being. I mean, geez. And he's a great writer.
Yeah, he writes half the damn movie.
Right.
Yeah.
The cop was trying to, beat around the bush instead of telling him, I don't want you here. He's trying to give him like reasons to go somewhere else. And he just had that line, why are you pushing me? And it's just like, wow. Just that one line, the way he said it, is like, God damn. Like you could see that this man has been going through this over and over and over, and he's just fucking tired of it.
Dude just wanted something to eat. Seriously, he just wanted to find someplace to eat.
He's basically just found out he's the only surviving member of his unit.
Yep.
I mean, the family he visited to visit the one man said, he died from because he was exposed to Agent Orange, and he's dead now. And he's got nobody but, Troutman, and Troutman, finally shows up, and it's just like, you don't want to do this, Sheriff. This, Rambo he's dangerous,
The look on Troutman's face when Rambo's having his breakdown too, like that's the first time.
It's like it's just
a
finally
lot of times
clicked.
you don't see a lot of emotion in those moments from the guys, but he definitely was like, damn.
He's like, I'm responsible for this. Like I made him into this.
I trained him. Yeah.
But even though that's his job.
Again, it's even different in the novel because, like, in the novel, if I remember correctly,
they barely knew each other or something like that.
They never met each other, like, face to face, like Troutman and Rambo, until the events of the novel. Like, the base where Rambo was trained, he always heard Troutman's voice, and so when Troutman's trying to communicate with them, he recognized the voice on the radio and to get Rambo to start.
I've never read it now. You guys make me want to, though.
It's not a bad novel, but it's definitely different from the movie. Well, like everything. I mean, everything's different from the novel for the most part. But yeah, I mean, this movie's really great. I mean, it shows what the vets went through after coming home from Vietnam and all the crap they went through, PTSD. Well, like all soldiers. I mean, not just Vietnam, but all soldiers go through that.
That's the first war that people started actually recognizing it. Before that,
yeah,
but he just
exactly
man up.
That one was significantly worse than any of the others before or since, as far as the way the public treated them, because there was so much misinformation going on in the media saying what they were doing over there, and none of it was true.
No,
they weren't killing children. In fact, the children were killing them, and it's sad.
Basically, everybody in that
Chickle.
situation, everybody goes to the Miley Village massacre, which was one incident that was really bad that the soldiers did perpetuate and murder innocent people. So the media got a hold of that, or just like, look, this is what's going on over there, what the soldiers are doing. No, that's one isolated incident where people freaking lost their crap and just killed everybody in that village. And those people were court-martialed and went on trial and everything.
Yep.
So, don't try to tell me that every soldier does.
Every soldier on a few.
Yeah.
Just like anything like that.
So it's like what Rambo said. I come home and people are spitting on me and calling me baby killer. That's what people were doing. These freaking idiot dipweeds doing these people who, really didn't have a choice in the matter to go over there. I mean, my father was drafted during Vietnam. He didn't fight in Vietnam. He got stationed in Okinawa, but still he was drafted and he, went. He actually got lucky to where he got to choose where to go because they're like, we need a certain amount of people to go, go to Okinawa. And my dad's like, I'll go to Okinawa. So I was like, okay. So he was there for like 19 months, I believe.
Yeah, my dad was drafted too and did 2 tours. The second one was cut short because he got injured. But
and I've got uncles who
I'm not telling right now.
Yeah, I got uncles who were drafted and stuff. So I mean, I mean, Vietnam was freaking. It was nuts, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
it really was.
There's 2 lines from this that really stood out to me. They're both chilling and funny as they go together. Where Rambo has the sheriff with the knife to his throat, and he says, "In the town, you're the law. Out here, it's me." He's like, "Let it go. I'll give you a war you'll never believe."
I love that one.
And then, like 20 minutes later, the sheriff's like, "They found Rambo's body. As a matter of fact, he stole an army truck and blew up a gas station." He's like, "He fucking warned you."
That last part of the movie when he's in town, just shooting up all the stuff and
Good
everything.
Lord.
I mean, that's great too. And then Tiesel's on the roof and he shoots Tiesel's leg. Tiesel falls to the roof and Troutman comes in and he's like, "It's over, soldier." He's like, "It's never over." That whole speech is just,
just to see him
that
kind
was
of
Oscar worthy. The
Okay.
whole
Yeah,
fucking scene.
So that whole
talking about his friend being blown up by the shoe shine box. He's like, "I can't. Where are my legs? I'm looking for your legs, man. I mean, that's just, oh my goodness,
So-
that's stuff that really happened."
exactly, and this is where like Stallone really is an amazing actor, like we were talking about, is that he's like super intense, like just in battle mode, and it just like in just like the slightest way it just switches, and then he just has that whole breakdown, and and talking about the memories from the war and all that, and then the crying, and then pulling Troutman in and just needing to like hug him and almost like his father figure basically, because that's pretty much what he was. And I mean that whole scene
left, and I mean,
and just
essentially,
and it's just like that whole like mental state that he's in. I mean, obviously he's mentally just fucked up, from everything that's happened, and being somebody that's dealt with a lot of mental health issues. I mean, seeing that, it just kills you on the inside, just to see somebody else kind of going through that thing, and just his whole life is basically just fucked up at this point, just losing everybody that he's ever cared about. Troutman really being kind of the last person and not really knowing his place in life, can't hold down a fucking job. I mean, it's just like all he knows how to do is kill.
Job parking cars.
Yeah, I mean, all he knows how to do is just kill and destroy, and that's really about it. I mean, and oh my god, it's such a beautiful scene and just heart wrenching at the same time. Like that should have been Oscar material right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it really should have been, but yeah. So that's like that is my favorite scene.
The only thing he has left also is his dad's still alive because his dad's got that ranch, but we don't find that out until part 4.
Yeah, right.
He even had a dad. It's just like, oh, he has a dad.
Yeah.
I'd like to mention Carradigan's character real fast. Like, if anyone had followed his lead, they probably would have been all fine, man. Like he knew from the break, we should just leave this guy alone, or maybe this guy's more dangerous than we realize.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking around with the wrong shit.
Yeah. But Tiesel had to, I know better. I'm blah, blah, blah.
I think he should have, after the Woods incident where he could have killed every single one of them, he should have left it alone at that point.
Should have.
Well, yeah, well, that's what Troutman said. He said, just let him go.
Yeah.
We'll pick him up in Seattle or somewhere like that, and he'll go peacefully.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ego involved.
But no, he
That's
had to
what
be
it was.
big man.
It was pride and ego. This is my town. Blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, he showed you.
Yeah, this is happening because of you, man.
Such a good movie.
Rambo would have just went through town, probably stopped at a diner or whatever, and then went on his way. That's all it would have happened, probably. Just Teasel just had to be a jerkweed.
Yeah.
But Brian Dennehy did a great job, though.
Oh my God, he was so good.
Everybody did a great job in this movie.
Yeah, it was wonderfully acted by everybody. I mean,
Richard Crenna, that's Troutman, was great.
Mm-hmm. And the location was just beautiful too. Because I mean, obviously they've got the different locations for each of the movies and whatnot. But I've always loved in First Blood kind of that mountain, like forest kind of terrain and whatnot. It's so pretty to look at, and it just makes for such a deadly area for him to obviously set all these traps and whatnot. I just fucking loved the look of the film with where they were at, and that was probably my favorite.
How about that chase scene up that mountain? The fucking sheriff watched them strip this man down and saw, how physically fit this was, and this fat ass motherfucker wants to chase him up a mountain. Oh, that cracks me up.
It's so good.
He flipped his cop car over. What a fucking idiot.
Well, that was actually another
the car at someone. I was like, "Oh man, you're fucked." Like, he's
Oh,
on a bike.
before he flipped the car over, he beat the shit out of it, man. That car was fucked.
What's funny is that what's funny is that car flip was actually not planned. That actually happened, and the director's like, "Oh, we'll just keep it in there. We'll just put Denny in there and just have him play it off."
And don't forget the stinking Weekend Warrior National Guard guys.
That was good too.
They're just so stupid. They just get the rocket launcher.
Bullseye.
I gotta open the drugstore on Monday morning.
Yes.
Well, you better get started.
He's like, "Hey, you get in there." "Oh, no way, man. I ain't going in there."
Screw that. That's what I would have said. Screw you, man. I'm not going.
Right.
Oh, you're commanding officer. How care you
I
are?
always looked down at the National Guard growing up because that's what I thought like they all were. But anyway.
Oh man.
So good. Any other things you guys want to touch on for First Blood before we move on?
Oh man, it's the perfect action movie.
It really is. I fucking love this movie so much. It really is perfect in almost every way. All right. Oh, another little tidbit about this movie before we move on. This is the only movie in the whole franchise that he doesn't use a bow and arrow. And I didn't realize it until rewatching it. This is literally the only one he doesn't use a bow and arrow.
Something as watching all these, I was like, I never realized how faithful he was to the damn bow and arrow, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Something that kind of went over my head. It's been a long time since I sat and watched all these. My first time for Last Blood, but yeah, the bow and arrow, that's his definite weapon of choice.
And we'll talk about that.
Silent.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And unless you're in First Blood 2 or Rambo 3, because using those explosive head arrows, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But let's go ahead and move on to Rambo First Blood Part 2. That was released May 22nd, 1985, directed by George P. Cosmatos. So you had returning Sylvester Stallone and Richard Crenna. You had joining them Charles Napier, Stephen Burkoff, and Martin Kove. This one had a budget of about $44 million and grossed over $300 million worldwide. So quite an increase.
That don't surprise me.
Damn.
No, it doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
Everybody and their freaking mama was talking about and wanting to see or did go see this movie, and there was cartoons and toy. Like, it was the
Mm-hmm.
I was all about it, man. Like
Rambo Freedom Force was the cartoon, I believe, right?
I believe so.
I remember watching
second
that.
or third grade, man. I was all about it. I had the Jade stone necklace around my neck and all that shit.
Right?
Shit to me, and so was this movie at that time. Like, I mean, I still like it. Don't get me wrong, but at the time, I thought it was the best movie ever.
Right.
I was a kid. I loved it.
Exactly. So
I mean, it's a great action film. It just get your blood pumping, man. He just messes that freaking POW camp up, man.
Has a good hell yeah, America, and fuck you.
Yeah.
Bastards.
right.
Only movie that outdoes it, I think, in that respect is Missing in Action.
Missing in Action, yeah.
So, just really quick, just a couple pieces of trivia for this movie before we start into this. To prepare for the role, Sylvester Stallone did 8 months of training for 4 hours a day. He also took SWAT, combat, archery, and survival courses to prepare for this, which really shows in it. At the time of filming in 1985, there were close to 2,500 Vietnam vets still missing in action. And then finally, the film is dedicated to stuntman Cliff Wagner Jr., who was accidentally killed by one of the film's explosions. So that's kind of some of the trivia regarding this movie.
Wow. I didn't know that about that.
No, I didn't know that either. And so, yeah, this is like your kind of typical 80s action movie. I mean, it starts off, obviously, with
I would actually... I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I would actually apply that to Rambo 3, but we'll get to that.
They're both kind of pretty close with like style and whatnot. But yeah, so this obviously starts out with Stallone, Rambo in prison, obviously from the events of 1. Troutman comes to get him for a mission, and this is kind of where like all the movies after First Blood differ with First Blood, because First Blood was kind of him basically snapping, whereas 2 through Last Blood, it's always been like either a group of people or somebody is missing and basically Stallone having to go to save them,
Yeah.
Which was worse.
I like how it starts out with him in prison just because of what happened at the end of the first film.
Mm-hmm.
And Troutman's like, you'll get a full pardon, get you out of here, get you back there. We'll see if any of our boys are still over there, and then you come on home and you move.
That's why I like the line he has. He's like, you would stay here over your freedom. He's like, well, at least here I know where I stand.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It was, and he says, I just wish my country would love me as much as I love my country. And that's like, darn, that hits hard. I don't care. People are like, oh, that's so cheesy. No, it's freaking true.
No, it's real.
Yeah. Our vets are treated like crap in this country. I've worked with a guy who's a vet. He talks about the VA hospitals and stuff and how, they're just sitting there waiting and waiting, sometimes a couple of days, and they won't let you leave once you go. He said, it's insane. I'm like, they should be getting like the best of of everything. It's freaking crazy. And so, that really resonates, and it's true. And I love that line. It's not cheesy at all. It's freaking true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like people just view these guys as just disposable, whatever, disposable army toys or whatever. It's
not
insane.
disposable Rambo. Expendable. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the Expendables was like a callback to Rambo pretty much.
Yeah.
That's one thing I had to say that I really, really dislike about this movie is Co. The lady, the acting was so bad.
It was really bad.
It was so bad. She was so bad at pretending to have a bad accent. It was so bad.
It's okay because she died,
I mean, I like the character. I just thought it was poorly acted.
Yeah.
No, I know.
I would agree.
He gets a little romance there. Not too mushy, but she takes a bullet and dies, and so it's just like, oh.
Rambo
action trope.
He never gets any. Poor Rambo.
No, I'm disappointed that Martin Cove didn't tell Rambo to sweep the leg. That's why.
I like how he thought he was gonna. He's like, oh man, I'm glad you're back.
Dex is that.
You left me, bitch. I don't care what your order was.
Yeah,
I just gotta say,
great after watching.
You're not my brother.
Cobra Kai this year.
Yep.
And I was thinking, we could jokingly say, Kreese served with Rambo, and I was thinking maybe the guy that played the red-headed deputy in the first movie was related to Stingray, and that's where he got the hide in the leaves because he heard the story from his.
Oh, man. That's great.
God.
It's official. Cobra Kai and Karate Kid are in the same universe as Rambo.
There you go. I like it.
It's official. Mark just proved it.
I gotta say, Charles Napier in this movie is like plays that character so well, and he's just such a dick. Such a dick, and so easy to hate. He did such a good job with that.
You just want Rambo to take that giant knife and just shove it through his freaking face in the end.
Rambo caught him right away in the lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he lied about his service. Yeah.
I only trust you.
Yeah. Only trust Trotman. Our men are there. You better find them.
I like when he's got the POWs in the helicopter. He's like, man, the gun. Like, they went right back, even though they were all half dead. They all went back tried to go back into soldier form.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freaking fight, get their freedom.
It was so good. And when Rambo whipped out those arrows with the explosive heads, Jesus Christ.
That stuck with me through my whole childhood, man. Anytime I thought of Rambo, I thought of him blowing up the Jeeps with the arrows.
Mhm.
That is such a great freaking scene, and it's so fucking cool.
Heck yeah.
I mean, when he blows up the dude with the arrow at the end, it's just like, yes.
Yeah, and then he immediately regretted it. Like, I should have shot the chopper instead.
Oh, man.
I think one of my favorite kills, it's kind of so, I just like the way they did it, is when the guy's walking by and you see Rambo's eye open up in the mud.
Yes.
He comes out of the mud and gets the dude. I always thought took a lot of dedication to just mush up in the mud and get a kill. I just thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they play it off good because the next kill he's jumping out of the water. So
Yep.
it was pretty cool.
I love it when he's on the radio with Charles Napier's character. He tells him he's coming to get him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so perfect. And then he
looked like he was shitting his pants too when he landed.
Yeah.
Freaking shoots up the office, destroying all those computers and equipment is great.
God, it's so good. So good.
And he didn't kill him. He just made him shit himself.
Yeah.
Right?
Like at the end, he's find them. I'm going to find you. Talking about if there are any more soldiers out there missing. It's just like, darn, yeah.
Yeah, man, a lot of that crap was going on. They're really trying to convince the public that there wasn't as many as was, or that they were dead.
Yeah.
As that's just a side note. Great freaking movie, though. Good American flick. July 4th type movie.
Yeah, it's a really good like popcorn action flick. I like it. I mean, it's perfect 80s material, just like Rambo 3, and we'll talk about that here in a second.
Only Charlie Sheen can scream and shoot a gun like Stallone.
Oh, hot shots. I freaking love the little Star Wars bit in that movie when they fighting the Saddam Hussein.
God.
Oh, that movie's great.
Yes, it is. It really is. Any other things you guys want to cover with regards to First Blood 2?
Oh,
how the name changes. this franchise changes name.
Man, it took me forever to find Part 1 as a kid because I kept looking for Rambo Part 1 instead of the First Blood.
Right.
Video clerks could help me. Anyways, I like the line at the end of Part 2 when he goes, "But John, how are you going to live day by day?"
Yeah,
it's a good line. Sometimes that's all you can do is just live day by day. Jeez. All right. Well, moving on from there, we've got Rambo 3. So this is where they dropped the whole First Blood name because Stallone wanted to make it about the character, which is understandable. I mean, he's kind of the selling point with this franchise. So they just went with Rambo 3 instead of Rambo First Blood Part 3 or First Blood 3. So that was released on May 25th, 1988, directed by Peter McDonald. Cast included, of course, Stallone, Richard Crenna, and Kurtwood Smith. This one had a budget of $63 million and only managed to gain about $189 million worldwide. So a little bit of a drop there. This is the last Rambo film to star Richard Crenna as Troutman. He passed away in 2003, so a few years before Rambo came out. And obviously Rambo was dedicated to his memory because of that. Stallone actually asked for a Gulfstream jet, which was about $12 million as part of his pay for the film. He actually got one, which I think is hilarious and great. And then
that man knows how to make contracts.
Exactly. And then the scene where Rambo's playing that game on horseback. In reality, Stallone has been riding horses since childhood and even competed in his first polo match at age 11. So that's cool. Kind of really cool that he's actually been riding horses his whole life. So I thought that was pretty cool. This one is, I don't know. It's for me, it's kind of more of the same, just different location as, part 2. Obviously we find him, he's, kind of living with the monks and helping them, around their area and whatnot and doing fighting on the side to,
that's my
make
favorite
money.
part of this is the opening.
Yeah.
The whole fighting. I thought that was cool. And seeing that he's with the monks, like that just kind of made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was the only way he could find some inner peace in his life.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody that don't talk.
Right. So obviously Troutman's trying to get him to go do this mission in Afghanistan, and obviously he says no, and then he ends up getting ambushed and taken hostage, and that starts off the whole thing with Rambo having to go save Troutman now,
Gotta get his buddy, man.
Yep, got to get his buddy back. And I mean, this is kind of just another kind of popcorn movie for me. It's good. I mean, I don't hate any of the Rambo movies. I actually like all of them.
Yeah, same.
And it's got a lot of good action. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my least favorite in the series, but I not at all hate it.
Right.
I just think this movie's got weird pacing problems.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Yeah.
I like the idea of Rambo having to save Troutman and going into Afghanistan, Soviet.
I love the way they portrayed Afghanistan, the way they portrayed the country and the people and everything, because it's all real. You know, having been there myself, the people are like that, and it looked like they were really in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I know. I think they dedicated to the Afghan people at the end, I believe.
Yeah, I think they did.
And that was a real war that had gone on in the 80s between, Russia was trying to take over.
That up what happened here in 9/11 and shit. Like, there's a whole story behind that we're not going to get into.
Right.
Yeah. I was just saying that's part of what I really appreciated about it was the realism.
Yeah, it was Russia's. This was Russia's Vietnam. That's what it was.
Oh, they got fucked up in that war. Like you said, we don't need to get into it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what it was. And so it's kind of like, we got into Vietnam, well, they got into Afghanistan back then. That's what it was. But yeah, I mean, you have a villain who's just so-so. He's not like Teasel. He's not like what's his face from part 2. He's just like, oh, okay. He's, and I mean, this is still in the height of the Cold War. So of course, it's just like, okay, he's not memorable at all, really. That's the problem too. And that's why I said this one's more of a standard 80s action film than even part 2. Part 2 had that heavy weight of, we might have soldiers in these POW camps and stuff. Part 3 is just, I gotta go save my friend. Mm-hmm. And that, that's standard action, which is fine. Like I said, I don't hate this movie, like Sean said, but there's really nothing else that's so memorable. Some good action scenes here and there.
Yep.
Mainly the tank and the giant helicopter.
That's why I love the music when every time you see the Russian copter or tank, it's like dun dun.
Yeah.
Dun. It's Russians when you hear that music.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing Troutman and Rambo fight side by side. You hear all this, the first 2 movies, like, I trained him, I trained everything. Now you get to actually see Troutman in action, and
that was cool.
Yeah, so other than those few things, the rest of the movie's just kind of just
I
forget
like
about it.
I like the guy that helps when he first gets to Afghanistan. The guy that's kind of like his friend and helper along the way. I'm not sure the actor's name. I can't even remember the character's name, but I like that character in the movie though.
Yeah, agreed.
And the game you were talking about with him riding on the horses, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I had to get interrupted by a bunch of craziness.
right. Oh, it's so good.
And they don't have as much hit you in the like make you feel in this movie. It's just like you guys said with all the action.
Yep.
Anything that scene right after that is the only one that really kind of might make you feel that way because they just come in and even though they were setting up for battle and they still have women and children there and shit. And
Yeah.
mow down everybody without care. So.
And like we said, it's not a bad movie, but this is purely 80s action fare.
Yep.
Is what it is essentially. Still good, but just not the best.
I like when he heals his wound too with the gunpowder.
Oh, that was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. Just showing how much of a badass he is.
Yeah.
So cool. So cool him cauterizing his own wound with gunpowder. It's so good. Actually, that kind of last one of the last scenes in the cave I liked a lot too, with him and Troutman like doing the whole stealth, like taking out the enemies and whatnot, and obviously Rambo with his bow and arrow again, just fucking amazing.
Yeah, that reminds me. That was a great scene, but it seemed like the effects fell flat in this movie as well compared to the ones before.
Yeah.
Like the green screen effects were kind of cheesy. But man, that scene was great watching. You think Rambo, you think he's done. He went through and he was fucked. And here comes Troutman. I got to save your ass again, John.
Good line too for that moment.
Yep. And then telling the main Russian guy, "I'm your worst nightmare." It's always a classic line. I love that.
What's funny is that because I watched Die Hard today when Hans Gruber was talking to John McClane, he's just like, "Oh, you Americans, you think that you're John Wayne or Rambo?" And I just started laughing because I was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing Rambo tonight."
Man,
we recorded
I can't
this.
wait to do those, man. Hans Gruber is such a great fucking villain.
Oh my goodness,
Yes.
he's one of the best. But we got to wait till next week. Or else we'll be here all night talking about Hans Gruber.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Rambo 3 here, I mean, there isn't really much more that I can really say about it. We've kind of covered it all with this one because it really didn't kind of have that emotional undertone with it. It was very much just a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It just a lot of explosions, a lot of action. That's kind of really about it, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, there's a place for this kind of movie, and it's a decent movie,
Even as a kid, when I was first getting into this franchise and renting them on VHS, and when I got to part 3, I even thought the same thing. I was like, it's not as good as the first two.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's not a bad movie, like we've said many times. It's just, I have to, because some people will think, "Oh, they hate this movie." No, I don't hate
RoboCop. This isn't RoboCop 3.
No, God,
this
no.
is definitely not RoboCop 2. And Kurtwood Smith is in this, so that's a good thing too.
Yes,
He doesn't really do much. But yeah, Rambo 3 is good.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Any other final thoughts on Rambo 3? Nope. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to Rambo then. This was released January 24th, 2008, directed by Sylvester Stallone himself, written and directed. So cast obviously adds Stallone in it. You had Julie Benz, who was in the TV show Dexter. You had Matthew Marsden and Graham McTavish. So this had a budget of about $50 million and made about $113 million worldwide. So a little bit of trivia with this. Rambo was actually banned in Burma, and bootlegs were a hot item. So,
me at all.
Yeah, and some of the Burmese freedom fighters actually adopted some of the dialogue from the movie as battle cries, most notably the "Live for Nothing" or "Die for something" line. And Stallone actually said to me, "That's like one of the proudest moments I've ever had in film is that, and them kind of taking on that battle cry, basically." Julie Benz, who was cast as Sarah in the movie, was cast because Stallone was actually a huge fan of the show Dexter, which she starred in for the first 4 seasons. So that's why she ended up getting the role for that. And then finally, Rambo was actually supposed to hold that M250 cal machine gun in his hands and fire it. But when fully assembled, the weapon weighed 120 pounds. Stallone was actually still able to holding it and firing it, but it was too cumbersome for quick movements, so that's where it had to be mounted at the back of the Jeep.
He wants. He's like, "Fuck no, I can't do this." With all these
How
guys.
cool would that have been, though? Just him holding that fucking thing, just shooting it. It would have been so cool if they could have pulled it off. But I mean, it's still a badass scene in this fucking movie. I mean, it's so good.
They make a good. I don't even remember the villain's name, but they really make. Like they didn't do in 3. They make this guy
really despicable.
They make you hate him.
Genocidal, fucked up motherfucker. Probably the worst.
He's one of the worst. Yeah, I mean, you know what? He's a freaking pervert. I'd say, he is the worst.
Yeah.
For me, these last 2 films is where the Rambo franchise really stands out above all the others, because it is so rare that movies come this late in a franchise and they are so fucking good.
Yes.
This movie is spectacular, and the next one is even fucking better. It's just
Stallone has a lot of passion for the character.
Oh yes, this movie was watching Rambo rip that dude's throat out with his bare fucking. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome.
I remember back in the day, because this was the first Rambo movie I got to see in the theaters, and I remember just online when the Red Band trailer dropped, and then you just see him cut that guy's head off, and then take the gun and shoot that guy point blank range, and it showed everything, and I was just like, I can't wait for this.
The effects are amazing.
Yeah,
I think it's the most violent in the franchise. Close maybe, but this one was definitely the most violent, especially like when he was talking about the 50 cal when he gets on it.
Oh man, those guys' heads were just popping like balloons, man.
Yeah, their bodies were just exploding.
I freaking loved it.
Dude, it was insane.
I just sit there watching. I'm like, yeah, kill those kill them kill them all. my blood just got like, yeah, get those evil.
And that dude's sniper rifle, fucking, I don't know what gun that was, man. I'm not good at that, but that thing had some power, dude. It was fucking.
It looked like a 50 cal.
Yeah, that shit was vicious.
It was very vicious, very, very good.
Rambo 4. It's the most brutal of the entire franchise, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
I love the plot, and the plot is so simple, man. It's not complicated. It's not convoluted. Rambo ends up befriending the girl. What's her name? Sarah. I believe it was Sarah. Yeah. He befriends her, and then they get captured, and then the preacher, because they're missionaries, Christian missionaries, and then the preacher's like, the last thing we knew about them is that they used your boat to get to where they were going, and we hired some mercenaries. And things just ramp up from there. It's so simple, and it's so much effective.
It was cool to see him with the mercenaries too.
Yeah.
Those guys were pansies.
Are you talking about that dude? His leg was blown off, and he was sitting there like saying, "Fuck you, motherfucker! Come get me."
I was like, he's a major asshole, but he still was.
I'm talking about when they get to the village, and the guy that's like in charge, the bald headed guy, he's like, "Nope, let's just get out of here." And you're like, "What?" He's like, "No, they're already dead."
He was a prick a lot. I didn't like him either until I saw like. At least, I mean, he was an asshole, but
he was tough as nails.
Yeah, he was tough as shit. So.
How about that? There was one really, really quick sequence, like just a really snap, where the freedom fighter guy that was wearing the bandana,
he
did this little hop over a log, and he just rolled and he just snapped his gun like he was ready. Man, that shit
was fucking awesome.
smooth.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
Yeah,
this dude practiced how he wanted to do this.
Yep.
He was fucking good.
See, what I love about this movie is where like two and three, kind of the whole like emotional dynamic kind of died off, a little bit in two, and then almost completely in three. Like you have that whole emotional thing in Rambo, where you actually care about what's going on, and it's not just a fucking popcorn movie. I mean, it's so well written. Stallone did a wonderful job directing this whole fucking movie. I mean,
because again, this is something that is going on in Burma at the and I mean, why do you think the government banned the movie? Because it's it's about what evil crap that they've been doing.
Mm-hmm. And so
stuff, and that's why the Karen rebels bootleg the movie and were adopting its the one-liners and stuff, live for nothing and die for something. I mean there's, unlike part 3, there's nothing but emotional weight in this movie. Just like First Blood or First Blood Part 2, or even Last Blood. I mean, this is the one. I mean, there's just so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great after a 20-year absence, just seeing the character again and being done so well.
That was one thing I was gonna say, man. Like I was eerie going into this.
Yeah, I had low hope.
So much fucking shit and all this crap. Like when it came out, so there's just so many remakes and so much crap coming out. But Stallone, fucking definitely. Thankfully,
he pulled it off.
Yeah,
he
I
pulled it
love
off.
the scene where they got stopped by the pirates, and all the Christian missionaries got to see the violence firsthand, and they just thought it was just him being a dick or whatever. He's just a psycho.
He told them, he was like
they wanted to rape her.
Yeah, he said they would have killed John, raped her 10 times over, and then killed her. He's like, we're gonna report this. It's just like, oh gosh, man.
You do that,
one thing about that guy who was talking about a reporter, he had a moment towards the end where he realized, I have to fucking do something. I can't just be that guy on the side. Like,
that was a great moment too.
I like
that rock just beating that guy's face
and a do-gooder, and he just didn't get, like, there's moments in life where it doesn't matter what your fucking do-good shit is. Like, sometimes you got to make a fucking choice.
Yeah.
Thankfully he did. So
character progression makes for good stories. You guys out there making these shitty movies need to take notes.
Dude, that's what I told Isaiah before y'all came into the chat here. I was just like, man, these people, they don't understand the logistics of simple storytelling.
Yeah.
Everybody just wants big moments, like what Sean said when we started talking about it too. Sean's just like, everybody just wants
all your big moments, then you ain't got much story left to tell.
Right.
Exactly. But yeah, Rambo 4 is just amazing. I mean, seeing it in the theater was just a great experience. I mean, it was a great experience to finally actually see a Rambo movie in the theater, period.
Oh, definitely.
I was too young for
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a 3-year-old to see a Rambo movie. But yeah, I mean, it was great.
I had to wait for part 2 to be on VHS to see it because it was R-rated. So.
Yeah.
The 3 I got to see in the movies. So.
Well, First Blood I got to see on my my uncle and aunt had taped it off a TV, so I got to see that. That's how I saw First Blood for the first time.
That's awesome.
Was on just a blank VHS tape, and yeah.
I've probably watched First Blood on TV like that more than I've watched it not that way. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, that whole last sequence, that last like 20 minutes to a half an hour, basically from when they go in there to save, what's left of the missionaries, and kind of the stealthy way that they're going about that. That was a fucking cool sequence. To them escaping, and then the whole at the bank of the river and whatnot. That whole face off, and with the 50 cal and the sniping and just
50 cal. He shot the guy inside the truck that was mounted to. Dude got point blank 50 cal and he just exploded.
It was so
Man,
good.
those kids are popping like balloons, like I said. It's crazy.
I think one of the most badass parts of this movie was again another line, and he's when the sniper guy was taking Sarah, and Rambo decided he was going to go back to draw the dogs away.
Yep.
He just said, "Give me your claymore," and I was like, "Oh shit, what's he going to do?"
Just One of my favorite scenes is he's looking at her and he's just like, "You're gonna make it. Go run now." And it's just like, darn, it's great.
Oh, she was such a great character because she gave him a reason to go home. She's like, "Don't you want to go home and see how it's changed? How it's not the same anymore?"
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have probably even went home at the end.
Yeah,
probably
he just
not.
stayed inside.
Would have been
getting cobras for the Cobra show. Hey, not King Cobra. Obviously, I don't know Thai.
So good.
You don't even know.
Oh man.
But yeah, Rambo 4 is awesome.
Oh, it's such a good movie. And it like brought this whole franchise back from the dead. I mean, because obviously 20 years basically since Rambo 3, and it just brought new life to this character in this franchise.
He's traveling. I wish we could have had him there.
Yeah,
it was still a great movie, but like you said, it was dedicated to him. Still, I missed not seeing him there. That's the one thing I missed. So
yeah.
About it, but I still missed his character.
Exactly. So yeah, Rambo, it was definitely fucking amazing. That was my first one seen in the theaters too. And that was an amazing experience. I fucking love this movie so much. And then obviously we have the final, or at least as of right now, the final Rambo movie in the franchise, Rambo Last Blood. That was released last year, September 20th, 2019. This time directed by Adrian Grunberg. You had the Stallone back, obviously, as Rambo. You had Paz Vega, Adriana Barraza, and Yvette Monreal. This one had a budget of $50 million and grossed over $178 million. So it actually went up with the worldwide gross on this one, but still had the same budget as Part 4. So obviously, we talked about the extended edition, so some versions of the movie, the extended edition, is what we're talking about here, includes the alternate opening scene. Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay. That's good. And that extended the runtime to 101 minutes, whereas the theatrical release is only 89 minutes, which is like the shortest Rambo movie in the series, if you're going with the original theatrical. This is the first film in the Rambo series where he does not wear the iconic bandana, and that's like the only
a cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's so weird not having him get in the bandana, and it's kind of a letdown a little bit. As much as I love this movie,
his hair too, man. He cut his hair.
This movie made me want to see a Stallone film where he plays a Texas Ranger.
Yeah, which would be really cool. And then the final piece of trivia I had for this is in Rambo, we find out when he goes back home, finally, that his father's name, or his first initial of his father's name is R, so R Rambo, and then in Last Blood, we find out his father's full name is Revis Rambo, and he had passed away in 2000, so, and that's right before the whole final showdown at the ranch, so this movie is incredible, especially if you're watching the extended version, which I highly recommend. Watch the extended version over the theatrical one. It's
Amazon Prime for free right now.
I feel like this is the fifth Rambo movie. I feel like he was trying to make up for Rocky V. Dude, this movie was fucking sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Oh man, it hit you right in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
But it was like
subject matter that's the kids getting stolen and so on shit. That shit frustrates the fuck out of me anyways.
Yeah.
Definitely hit home. I got 2 daughters, man. My sister was almost kidnapped and by 3 Spanish guys coming back from a bar. Almost the same exact situation, but cops intervened. Lucky for her. So just to see that and see him get her and for her to not make it, that shit crushed me, man.
That killed me when she didn't make it and dies on the way when they're on the way back. Oh my god, that killed me.
And I knew as soon as she got there, when her friend was like, "You still a virgin?" I was like, "Oh man, this bitch." Fucking
yeah. Well, then the way she just looks at her bracelet too, you're just like, "Oh, this freaking whore is gonna."
Honestly, I thought when they went to the dad's, that was the place she was getting kidnapped. Like I didn't even think it was going to be her dad there.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
You know, it just like at the end of part 2, you just wanted Rambo to kill her dad in that freaking woman. That
Piece of garbage.
Yeah, he said I should have snapped your neck whenever I was
should have
like,
killed her when she pointed out the guy in the club. Man, I was like, just all he has to do is just stab her in the back right there, and she just beat. And but none of the rides, or nobody's paying attention. They're all drugged up and drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I like it what he did, man. What he did. I mean, this movie's brutal too. Like part 4, man, when he rips that guy's collarbone out and it's just like,
oh my god,
oh, that was
makes you
I
squirm.
thought he would just shove his fingers through his damn eye sockets. Too.
oh my goodness, that hurts.
Well, back when he was talking to the woman at her apartment, I loved when he slammed that knife down. He said, "You're going to tell me where she went and who she went with, or I'm going to hurt you real bad."
It's such a good line.
Yes, she's like, I can't do it because these people know me. I can't leave. And he's like, you're gonna take me there. I'm like, this is your fault. You shouldn't have done that to your so-called friend. I mean,
like, I don't give a fuck what happens to you after this.
Right.
Exactly. I'm the same way.
This is Rambo is fucking unhinged.
His rage is just unbridled in this.
It's like the line he told her when he was mentoring her. He's like, I didn't change. I've just been trying to keep a lid on it.
Yeah,
all these years."
I love that line when they're in the tunnels. Yes, I love it.
I love how he's got the tunnels too, man. Like he's just prepping because he knows one day it might come to that shit.
Right.
I think it's also just because of his PTSD, and he's just, it's what he, in Vietnam, because of the tunnels in Vietnam too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt like he was sleeping down there and everything, man. I was like,
Yeah.
He asked her, "What your friends think of the tunnels?" He said, "It's cool, but they wanted to know why my uncle made all these tunnels. So I told him that he likes to dig and he's a little crazy."
He's making her that letter opener. And she's like, nobody writes letters anymore. Oh, you keep the boys away then.
Right.
I love the extra in the extended edition when the new opening. That's the only thing that's changed is just the opening when he's trying to save those hikers in the storm.
Yeah,
that's great. And then you have the extra dialogue between him and Maria, Gabriella's grandmother, and talking about, you
can't save everybody basically.
Like put on that rocking chair, and just sit. And
that they would cut that out because to me that's an important scene.
That's essential.
Because at the end when he's done killing everybody, he sits in the rocking chair.
That's why I thought it was kind of I don't think he should do another one, man. With the way it all went down.
Yeah, it looked like he died in that rocking chair.
It left it up for your interpretation.
No, he lived because during the end credits, there's a small scene where he's getting on a horse and riding off into the sunset.
Even more reason why they shouldn't do another one. Like, I didn't want so much that he died. I just felt on the rocking chair. And
it felt like a finale, is what it felt like.
Well, with the way the end credits were, it was like an homage to the entire franchise.
Yeah,
which I enjoyed.
One of my favorite end credits ever.
Mm-hmm. Get ready, because Stallone said he would like to make another one, and he said he would like for Rambo to be on the Indian reservation because he's got some Native American in him. He said, I don't know if it'll happen, but that's what he talked about, though. So
I was surprised they didn't explore that in this one. I thought that was something that was going to come up. Maybe was the Indian blood because he's back home and you don't know a lot about his family history.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed in that. I honestly thought we just saw that in this movie a little bit, like something.
I love it when he tells Maria, he's like, "I want you to go to your sister's house. It's just go visit your sister." And I love like the cartel guys, the two brothers, the one that's like thinks he's all big, bad, and tough. He's the one who gets his head cut off in the shower. I love that because it's like, you're not so tough, are you? You get killed in the shower.
My favorite kill. You don't even see it, but when he's truck
driving down the highway,
throws the head out. I was
drops the head.
So
like
good.
This is great.
I love when he's going through the whorehouse and he's just wrecking shit with that hammer. And then
Get out of here!
He's just walking at that one dude, and that one dude's like, "No, no, 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 no!" And he just rams him right in the fucking nuts with the claw.
He's telling the girls, go. And they're like, "No, we can't. They'll kill us." Go. And he's like, "Whatever. I'm not here for you anymore."
It's so realistic. Like they had them women
trained. They had them basically trained and scared out of their wits. Like there's somebody on every corner ready to get them if they escape.
Yeah.
Which really happens. I mean, people who are in a captive situation get psychologically tortured like that. Don't try to run because I got people with me, and they'll bub. I mean, it's insane.
Yep.
But it's great, man. He's just smacking him with the hammer and stuff. Just
God,
he just goes out there, knocks on the door. I need a young girl. They open it up, and he just pulls out that hammer, and just goes rag, 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 rag. I'm just like, just sitting in the theater watching this last year. I was just like, yes. Just like Rambo 4, I'm like, kill these evil pieces of crap. Kill the rebel. Right. Everyone die. Kill them all.
Funny. The two brothers, man. The one had more class. The other one was crazier. But I think the crazier one was probably actually the more bad. Even though they both are the bad guys, I thought he was probably
more evil.
The one that said you should have killed Rambo. Like he was the one who killed John, which they wouldn't have had all that shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
He just was a little bit looser in the head, which is why the other brother was.
Well, he wanted Rambo, he thought Rambo would just go off and then he'd be like, you're going to live with what we're going to do to her.
Yeah.
That's what it was. He just wanted to like hurt him very bad emotionally, not physically. He's like, live with your failure and the fact that you tried to get her out. We're going to treat her even worse. She's going to be doped up all the time and she's just going to be a sex doll for everybody. And it's just.
You're just creating an enemy when you do that.
Yeah.
Make yourself seem badass.
Let's talk about his death scene when he got his freaking heart ripped out. How awesome was that?
Oh, my God.
That whole ranch sequence. Holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be devoted as a motherfucker to see that go on and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's like, you go, the fuck you, I'm going home.
Right? When they were in the tunnels at the end and he plays the Doors on the speaker, it's just that's so us like starts playing and you're just like, oh, this is great. He's just like blowing people's heads off with shotguns. He got all the traps, people falling into spikes or nails, whatever you want to call it.
No matter how the trap was, and even if it looked like the trap killed them, he still came up and shot the fuck out of them.
Right. Just made sure, yeah.
So many shotgun blasts to the head. So many.
So good.
What about the magnesium bullets?
That was fucking awesome.
Incendiary shotgun.
That's it. And they caught on fire. That was great.
I was like, Call of Duty, World War II. Those bullets are a bitch. That was a great end sequence.
Yes,
I love the where he had the rod that he was sticking through the hole in the wall, and he stabbed that dude in the head, and then he dropped down and he had a small hole on the floor and cut that other dude's legs off.
Yeah,
stabbed him right in the neck afterwards.
And that was the machete he had in the last
Rambo.
movie.
Yep.
Yes, from 4.
Yep.
Such a good callback because that fucking knife was badass when he cut that guy in half in 4.
I still think his original blade was cooler, but
yeah.
The damage he does with the newer blade is more awesome.
Right.
Well, the original blade had utility because he used it to cut wire fences and shit.
You've ever seen one of them too, man? Those are badass knives.
Mm-hmm. Another one of my favorite parts in this movie is after he finds that his brother's been killed, and Rambo just had the picture of Gabriella with the knife stuck in the wall, like, come and get me now. You know where I am. Let's do that. I love that. Oh man, it's just so awesome.
I loved after the tunnels blew up, you saw outside exactly how vast these tunnels were.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking insane.
If you want to get out alive, follow the light.
I told my wife, I was like, I wonder what the local cops are thinking right now. Right? Quiet down, what the fuck? The aliens.
I love that when they're just talking on the radio at the end, and he's just like, I'm going to rip your heart out, what you did to me. It's just like, oh, yeah.
It's like
what they actually did it. They actually did it, too, because I love it, because then you're watching the movie, and you're like, how's he going to kill him? No, he really did rip his heart out.
I knew it was coming as soon as he had him up there. I was like, oh, he's about to really rip that shit out.
Yeah, exactly. Got him with the bow and arrow and trapped him, have him stuck up there in the barn. Of course, all that guy would just be like, oh, F you. It's like, it doesn't matter what you say, pal. You're dead. And you know it, too. You can be mad all you want to. You did this to yourself.
It's like the grandma said, man, you're just going to be sad till you die. Like, rip. You killed our soul and heart. So,
Yeah. Again, and that's part of the extended version too. I don't understand why they cut like the United States. Yeah, the United States, the UK version, and I can't remember what other country just got the theatrical. But like other countries, like Japan and some other, I can't remember. They're the ones who got the extended version in theaters and stuff. I'm just like, why can't we just get this on disc? You know, I mean.
Yeah,
You already have the theatrical on Blu-ray, 4K. Just release because they did the same thing with the fourth one. They released the director's cut, which wasn't good. It was all re-edited, and I didn't like it. I prefer the theatrical for part 4, but I'm just like this is great. This extended version for 5 is just awesome. I love the extra stuff, the extra character moments. Like I told y'all throughout last week, I was just like, it's more character development for things and drama, and it's like only like 10 extra minutes.
Yeah,
but
it's not much, but it adds a lot to it.
It adds a lot of weight to it. I mean, the weight's already there with Gabriella and stuff, but and the theatrical version is still good. I mean, but this extended version is just fantastic, and
it really puts it over the top, in my opinion. I
don't even want to see the theatrical. This is all I'm thinking. I'm good. Like.
Such a good movie.
Just pray that Amazon keeps it for free, man.
Right?
It'll come out eventually. Man.
Eventually,
I hope so, because I'm so tempted to just because like the 4K for this one's like what $12.99 right now, and it's just so tempting to just click that buy button.
Right?
Because it's the only one I don't have. I have the 4-pack with the other 4, but
yeah,
this one's great. Rambo: Last Blood is freaking awesome. Also,
it's funny. I still have my original DVDs. It was the first 3 before the 4th one had come out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it was a steel book before there were steel books. Like the outside is this hard silver steel, and it like slips out and has this great casing, and it has widescreen and full screen on each side. And has
my Terminator 2 is just exactly like that.
A 4 supplemental disc, dude. So many features. Like it's one of the best plain DVD. That's why I've kept it. Like it's got so many things on it, man.
Yeah,
one of the best DVD put together I've seen.
Very, very cool. All right, so let's talk about ranking this. How would you guys rank these 5 movies?
It was tough for me at first when I thought it was going to be harder until I watched all 5. I'll put it that way. At first I was like, man, I like all these too much.
Right?
I got a ranking, so I'm going First Blood is first because that's my favorite. I don't care what anybody thinks. Last Blood is second.
Okay.
Then part 2, then Rambo, and then part 3. So 1, 5, 2, 4, 3.
That's really similar to mine. Yeah, First Blood's the best, man, and I would say Last Blood would be my favorite, but it wouldn't make sense without First Blood. The movie you wouldn't understand was anything, about the character. First Blood is just so iconic. So that's definitely my first. Last Blood it's just insane that this 5th movie is so good. It's my second favorite. And where we differ, Sean, is my next favorite is Rambo, and then 2, and then 3.
Okay.
Well, First Blood's the best. Part 1 is great. It's a great drama with action in it.
So happy, man.
It's fantastic. Oh, I mean, like everybody else, the rest is so freaking hard to rank because I love them. But and I had my ranking set, but after this, it's kind of changed because I keep going back. But so First Blood is first. Then I would say, I hate this, man. It's like picking my favorite kid. It is. I'll go with Last Blood as my second favorite.
Okay.
It used to be Rambo 4, but it's changed, and I mean, Last Blood hits my heart so bad.
Do you think that's because you saw the extended cut now?
I think it's because I saw the extended cut now. It was originally First Blood, Rambo 4, then Last Blood, but the more I think about it, because also it's just I've got my niece is like close to Gabriella's age, and I would want to do what Rambo did if anything like that happened to her. I would just, I wouldn't care. I would have killed that freaking woman who
I
sold.
thought of you. I was like, oh, Uncle Ted's going to Mexico.
I would kill that woman. I would do more than break that guy's collarbone. I would chop his freaking balls off. I would do. I mean, dear Lord.
I have to explain.
Because that hits close to home. And so I would say Last Blood would be my second. Rambo 4, my third. First Blood 2, fourth. And then Rambo 3 last. So 1, 5, 4, 2, 3.
Okay. Awesome. So we're all kind of very, very close. First Blood, definitely the best out of the series. We all agree on that. That it's like the right amount of drama and action. It's the perfect movie, in my opinion, for action. And like I said, the Rambo series is probably my favorite action series out of all of them, because there isn't one of them that I hate, and I actually like all of them. But definitely First Blood is my favorite. Rambo is my second. It has been for a long time. It hasn't even changed. As much as I love Last Blood, I don't know. It's just I still love Rambo more, and I think it's I don't even know why. It's just really, really good, I think. So exactly. Yeah. So then Last Blood is definitely number 3, and it's very, very close because it's so neck and neck with Rambo. They're both so well done, so good. And then number 4 would be Part 2, and then Part 3 is my least favorite out of all of them. So yeah, so 1, 4, 5, 2, 3 would be. I
want to say the reason Part 2 beat out Part 4, because it was close, it's just my attachment, I think, from my childhood and just loving that movie. Like I said at one time, it was my favorite movie. So I had I was like, nah, I gotta fucking put this 3, man.
Yeah,
I was disrespecting myself.
And off of that, I would like to reiterate that just because I picked Rambo 3 last does not mean I don't like it.
Yeah,
I had a feeling it might rank low on all our lists, even though we'd all appreciate it. I'm surprised we all picked Part 1 first, man. So many times I picked the original, and I feel alone in that. So
no,
happy everyone appreciates this one. So that's a personal thing that no one else cares about. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome, John.
Oh, and you're never alone. I'm in your closet. Watching you.
There's something completely unrelated from last week that I've been thinking about all week that I wanted to mention, because Isaiah had me thinking real hard because he was saying the first action movies he's seen. I'm pretty sure the first action movie I've ever seen in my life was Conan the Barbarian, and I think I'm pretty solid that's right, and I'm kind of proud of that.
Nice.
I've been trying to think of mine too, man, but I couldn't. I don't know.
It's hard to think.
It really is.
Honestly, this is going to sound corny, though. The first action shit I kind of remember is Buck Rogers.
Okay.
But that's not a movie, so I don't know.
I don't remember.
I really remember with guns shooting and stuff like that. So Buck Rogers, I guess. If you call that action.
Right.
Well, that's got action in it, so why not?
Yeah. A lot of hot women and action in it. So.
There you go. All right. I really like this episode. This episode was really, really good. I fucking love Rambo.
To it, man. I had so much fun watching these movies this week. And then we're just going to keep going. This month is so much fun.
I agree.
Die Hard, man. Freaking can't wait till next week.
I can't either. It's going to be so much fun.
I already started, man. I watched Part 1 today. Part 2 tomorrow after work.
There you go.
It's perfect. I always watch Part 1 and 2 this time of year.
Mm-hmm. That'll be my tomorrow night.
Part 2 takes place during Christmas time also.
It does. Yeah. It does.
So the first 2 movies are Christmas movies.
Yep.
I don't care what anyone says. They're Christmas movies.
Exactly.
Entire soundtrack is Christmas songs.
Darn straight. Even Run DMC in Part 1.
Yep.
He's like, can we listen to some Christmas music? This is a Christmas song. Yo, in Christmas in
it's Christmas in Highlands, Queens.
Yeah. I'm in the kitchen cooking collard greens. Yeah. I can't wait till we get to talk about Argyle next week.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Or Carl Winslow's Super Cat.
Right?
Hard straight.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. This whole action-packed December has been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks with Die Hard and Lethal Weapon to finish out the month. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. As always, we would love to know what you guys think. You can always feel free to reach out to us through our social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at CLS Podcast. We do appreciate you guys checking out this week's episode. It's kind of a long episode. I mean, almost 2 hours long. So we appreciate those of you that stuck through the whole show because it was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But we love you guys. Are there any final words of wisdom before we leave?
Don't kidnap girls and do that horrible stuff because somebody's going to take a hammer and smack your balls with it, and you won't have balls anymore.
Me and Uncle Ted will come and get you. How you gonna live day by day?
Yep.
That's a perfect way to end it. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
This episode of the Crystal Lake Soldiers podcast is brought to you by the Slash and Cast Podcast Network. Check us out at www.clspodcast.com or join in the conversation on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at CLS Podcast. Until next time, stay safe, campers.